Hello, I'm your host for today's episode of Write, and my name is Farrell D. Moore. Join me for the final look at the Water Dragon in our continuing series of The Dragons of Creative Writing. Fool that I am, despondent and alone, separated from you, I hold tighter to the goat's leash than any hope I have ever cherished in my heart. My cloven footed friend steps ahead, and his tether tightens, and I follow as though he leads me through the narrow cave opening into the night. Like a reluctant lover, hesitant to leave this woman's bed, my free hand trails along the moisture glistened wall. The thick gray blue mist surrounds us, and I see as though underwater. The fine fog sparkles everywhere, and I know that I have stepped into the land of dreams and Akashic light, swirled about on all sides by the vibrant ether that is ever the stuff of visionaries, mad poets, prophets, lovers, and lost souls. I sway like a man on a boat. One foot finds a rock, the other soft grass. The mist swirling fog is a woman's breath, moist, hot, and seductive. Do you know the way I call to the goat? The leather tether jerks to one side, and I almost fell. I remember the old man telling me that the words hold no meaning in the land of the water dragon. We have gone forward, turned and looped and spiraled down. My hands are bloody from a startling fall as I trip on an invisible outcropping of slick rock. I'm ashamed of the tears that run down my face. Where's my bravery, my strength? With you, I face the dragon of blackened fire. Without you, I'm led by a goat I can no longer see. My own hands are near invisible in the suffusing grayness. But I am no longer alone. For from within the mist I see vague movements, large and luminescent motions that flow between wisps and billows, and I can feel the air give way. The fog parts, and I see myriad iridescent blue-green scales dazzle past me. A transparent blue wing wide as the night feathers the air with its invisible movements. The water dragon has sought me out. When the tether goes limp, I almost cry out, but I'm afraid the dragon will find me. When I pull the tether towards me, no goat follows. It too has abandoned me to my fate. I drop the tether and rock behind, back and forth like a lost child. A suddenless, wordless song startles me and enraptures me. In all my life, my ears have heard nothing so sweet. Fragrant silver orbs float by me in the mist, and I am surrounded by the music of these spheres. It is the water dragon singing, soothing me like a mother would her child. My mind is flooded with imagery as deep within my creative spirit sings back to her. Colors intertwine and dance around me, radiant hues and flashes of bright harmonic unions. I walk again, whether forward or backward in a circle I can never say. And what would it matter? I came here to be a great storyteller. 7 dragons to meet and pass as the wise ones said I must. But they were wrong. Here story images and understandings rise and burst like foam from a churning sea. Why would any storyteller ever leave the land of this great dragon? She would teach me, and I would cherish her. A sudden chill comes over me. I'm lost in vapors with no direction. How will I find food? Where will I find shelter? I must flee, raise my hands in despair, and shake my fists at the fates. At that moment, a man breaks free from the mist, screaming and waving his arms like a madman. Nothing comes from his mouth, nothing follows him. Whatever demons chase him are his own strangled soul. He comes straight at me and I shrink back. He is on me, in me, and then through me like a tortured spirit moving through mere flesh. I shake with fear and cover my face. If only my father was with me to give me strength. But there is no one to stand by me but my foolishness. When I uncover my eyes, however, I actually see my father striding toward me, his face calm and confident, his eyes locked on my own. For a moment, so short I cannot count it, I'm exultant, but then once more I step back. My father is dead. This can only be his shade. As that feeling of lost hope sweeps over me, my father's images blend with the moist night air. Why was I on this hopeless quest? Why did I not stay in my village, surrounded by my friends and family? As my mind fills with remembered feelings of safety and security, I see these very people milling through the mist. You may think my eyes are deceived, but I see them and they are real. I see the old man who first told me of dragons. I know his son, and there he is too. There are the young girls and the women full of prime, and it comes over me then that I have always been a hopeless dreamer to them. In their eyes, I'm little more than a fool. Your mother is there, and I fear that she will accuse me. She will point me out to the others as the young man who took her only daughter from the safety of her home and lost that sweet child in the lands of dragons. As I feel and believe this, their eyes find mine. Your mother points a finger at me and says something I cannot hear, but know to be an accusation. I see clearly the sneer on her face and the shock of the others. Like a pack of wolves that have sniffed out a lamb, they all turn toward me, their faces twisted by derision and hatred. From the mist they advance toward me. Every line in their faces I can see with shocking clarity. These are no mere spirits. They wear the same clothes I know them to wear. Their hair lies flat about their heads in the moist night, and I can smell the odor of crushed straw as they move toward me. Go away, I cry. Still they come at me, hands outstretched, grasping for me. Your mother carries a jagged stone in her clenched hand. The blacksmith carries a twisted metal tool and slaps it into his hand as he walks. I'm alone, pours like an unbidden statement from my heart. And then they simply are no more. From somewhere inside my soul, an epiphanous light bursts forth, and I know at that moment that a story told before the heart moves is but a broken promise. What I say and do matters little in the land of the water dragon, but what I feel and imagine is everything. When I am afraid, so are the stories in my heart. I feel beauty and wonder beside me and turn my head to behold the water dragon herself. How can I tell you of her? I feel a love for storytellers as a moist, warm breath flows over me like fine velvet caressing a lover's skin. Her eyes are luminous and soft blue. Her tender chest lights with soft pink tenderness that grows and dims with each beat of her heart. I look up at her eyes again and see her long lashes sweep gently over her eyes. Is there anywhere else for a storyteller to spend their days? In her eyes I see truth. I see that a story not birth in feelings is but an artifice and pretense. I realize that what I feel forms the world of a storyteller's tales. The old man really was an old man when I met him, but my fear of losing you transformed him into the suitor that he was not. He grew young because I feared I could not hold your love in the presence of another. The water dragon looks tenderly down at me, a mother watching over her child. But unlike my mother, I know that the water dragon is immortal. She will never leave me and always show me her love by letting me stay by her until I die. This land of mist and figments can be my home, and she the guardian of my spirit. But I feel a tug at my heart, and turn to see you standing almost close enough to touch. It is not really you, I know, but love for you. I begin to weep. This dragon has shown me another lesson by bringing your spirit to me. In her land, stories come into being not by cold logic, but by the movement of our true feelings. But your spirit has taught me that no story in her world is alive. To be alive, my stories must be among real people who will hear them. To be alive, you must hear my stories. To be truly alive, I and my stories must leave the land of this wondrous dragon. A shivering tear falls upon my arm. I look up again to see the great water dragon fade into the mist. For a moment, I can hardly bear the thought of being separate from her. As if in warning, I see the shades of men and women moving in her wake between the parted fog. Their faces are rapturous and filled with adoring wonder. I know who they are. They are storytellers in love with their feelings, woven so tightly into the fabric of their own visions that they cannot leave the cloth of this shrouded land. I turn away from them, and the mist parts before me. There stands a mighty wrought gate, its hinged doors wide open to a bright day. As I move toward it, I know that the gate leading away from the land of the water dragon is always open. But there are those who love their newfound creativity too much to leave. Not many paces from the gate, I begin to smile. My footsteps lighten. I am on my way to find you. Storyteller, calls a voice from behind me. I turn to see the old man and his goat standing inside the still open gates. Old man, I call back. Remember this lesson as you walk. No matter how tightly entwined the hearts of all, when a storyteller draws up a story from the well of their heart, they pull it up alone. But why do you tell me this, old man? I cry out to him. Is it to torment me? Is it because you can never pass through the gates and be free? Seek your answer from the dragon of separation, he says. And that ends our story for the day. Be sure to tune in next time as we continue the dragons of creative writing. Until then, keep writing.